Hey, welcome back. It's Anthony and you're listening to Open for Business. Today's episode sounds a little bit different. Apologies if the audio quality isn't quite as high as it normally is. I'm recording this episode on the fly. I have some time before my next meeting, and this is a very important topic which I thought would make an excellent podcast episode, and I wanted to get this to you guys as soon as possible. So today we are talking about how you can increase the engagement that you get on your video content, right? Whether that content is posted on social media or on your digital marketing, if it's online, this tip will help you to increase the amount of engagement that you spend so much time and effort in creating the perfect video. We need to make sure that everybody is able to consume it, and this episode is all about how you increase that engagement. Let's get into it. Okay guys, so let's talk about why captions are so important on your video content, right? 85%, this is a stat from Facebook, 85% of video that's watched on Facebook is watched with the sound off. So that's only 15% of video that's watched on Facebook, and there is ridiculous amounts of video watched on Facebook each and every day. Only 15% of that is watched with the sound on. So now think about the videos that you've posted on Facebook that don't have captions. Now that is the reason why adding captions is so important, because the majority of the time people are actually watching video on silent. So they need those captions in order to make some kind of context, have some kind of context on the content that you have published. So the other side of the coin is the fact that, you don't want to spend so much. It does take some time to create video, especially if you're doing some, any level of editing or post-production. It does take quite a bit of effort to create the video that you publish on social media. So you don't want to waste all of that time, because if you don't have captions, you're not going to have, captured anybody's attention. Nobody's not going to know what the video is about. So I often have people say to me, yeah, Amp, that's great, but I can't afford to write captions. I don't have the time, or, I can't afford captions. Even though they're $1 a minute, I've had people tell me that they can't afford captions. But think about it. Can you afford the time to create the video content that you're making to have 85% of viewers skip it or not have any idea what you're talking about because it's on silent? So if you think about it, if you're creating a 2 or 3 or even a 5-minute video on Facebook, and that's going to cost you $2, $3, or $4 in captions, that might add up over a little while, but it's better off spending that money to get the most from the content that you're creating, rather than creating content for 15% of people who watch the video, all right? So the rest of this episode, what I wanted to do was to jump in and basically run you through the best ways and the easiest ways to add captions to your content, right, on the different social media platforms. We're going to start with Facebook. So the best practice with Facebook is to publish video to the platform natively, right? So upload the video to Facebook. That gets the best results, because Facebook want to be the ones that are, hosting your video and that is getting your video first, right? They want you to be publishing to their platform primarily. So uploading natively is the best way to do it. Now, Facebook does provide a caption service inside of its video manager or its video editor, but unfortunately it does lack some accuracy, and it can cost you time in fixing up the mistakes inside of that caption service. So you don't want to have to spend hours and hours trawling back through a 10-minute video. It could be a half-hour video that you've got, and that can take a lot of time to go back and fix any caption errors. So my suggestion is that you use a service called Rev. It's rev.com, rev.com, which is a fantastic platform for creating captions and also transcriptions with your video. And they will do it for $1 per minute. So that awesome piece of new content that you just created for Facebook, it's a 2-minute video. You're going to pay $2 to get a 99% accurate caption created for your video, so that everybody will know exactly what you're talking about. The best thing to do is to upload your video to rev.com And within a short period, normally if it's a short video, you'll get it back within the hour. At the very latest, it could take up to 24 hours. But you'll get back an SRT file, which you can upload to Facebook natively, and that will give you fantastic captions on your video. And the other side of the coin too, guys, is that not everybody that's on Facebook has the ability to hear. So providing people with captions also allows them to consume video as well. I've had cases where I've had people message me through Facebook and through LinkedIn saying, Anthony, love your content, but can you please add captions so that I can consume the content as well, because they're hearing impaired or they're deaf. So that's another great thing to think about as well. When it comes to LinkedIn, guys, it's a very similar process where it's best to publish the content to LinkedIn natively. But unfortunately, and I'm sure this is something that they'll bring in very soon, LinkedIn doesn't have a caption service at this time. So again, the best option is to upload that video to Rev, or if you've already done it for Facebook, you will have that SRT file, that caption file, and you can use that when you upload to LinkedIn. Now, when it comes to LinkedIn, you need to upload in an MP4 format, okay? So if you don't, LinkedIn doesn't give you the opportunity to edit your video in adding a title, a thumbnail, and captions. But if you upload in MP format, a little box will appear in the top right-hand corner of the preview before you publish, and that's where you can click and add your thumbnail, your video title, and your captions. So that's the best way to do it for LinkedIn, and unfortunately there's no way to add captions to a video on LinkedIn if you're using a third-party platform like Hootsuite or Buffer. You do need to publish natively in order to get that feature to add captions. When it comes to Instagram, now Instagram is another big one where video is very popular these days, and it's a question that I do get asked a bit, is how I add captions to my square video that goes in my feed on Instagram. Now, the best way, and basically the only way, you can't upload an SRT file currently to Instagram. There's no option for that. They may introduce it in the near future, but at this stage, you need to add your captions as hard captions, as text, when you're editing your video content. So if you have a video editor, they'll be able to do this very simply for you. But otherwise, just the same as adding a title to that, to that video before you add it to Instagram, you need to add your captions as well before you export your video. Now, if you want a good example of this, head over to Gary V's Instagram page and check his stuff out. It's at Gary VEE. And you'll be able to get a good idea of what I'm talking about there with adding hard captions to your Instagram video. But another thing, stories. Instagram stories are massively popular, and they're getting more and more popular. Now, you can also add hard captions to the video that you upload to Instagram stories. But if you're taking a natural, raw, in-the-moment Instagram story, what the best thing to do is to use the text feature inside of Instagram stories just to add a little note or, a dot point or some kind of text that adds context to what you're talking about. Because again, not everybody is listening to Instagram stories with the sound on. So think about that, guys, especially if you're posting a lot of stories in a row, where you might be having a bit of a chat about a particular topic. You need to make sure that there's some context on the screen there so that people know what's happening, even when they don't have the audio on, the sound on. And last of all, guys, we're going to talk about YouTube. So the best practice is, again, publish your video natively to YouTube. And again, we want to make sure that we have the ability to have captions, and particularly closed captions on YouTube. So the best way to do that is to go to your video manager, select Creator Studio, select Video Manager, and then Videos. And then you can choose the video that you want to add your closed captions or your captions to. Next to the video you want to add the captions to, click on the little drop-down menu next to the Edit button, and that'll give you the option to select Subtitles, Closed Captions, and then you can add new subtitles from there. Now, a little hack for everybody. If you don't want to use rev.com, what you can do is, and pay $1 a minute, even though I highly suggest you do that, You can upload your content to YouTube first and use the closed caption service to download the SRT file from YouTube and then upload it to places like Facebook and LinkedIn. So this is a little bit of a workaround, guys. It takes a little bit more effort, but you don't have to pay $1 a minute in order to get those captions. So to download a caption file from your video on YouTube, and again, the only way this is going to work is if the video is, the same length and the same section of video that you're uploading to YouTube. So it needs to be the same video that you're uploading to Facebook or LinkedIn. To download your SRT file, you go to your Creative Studio, you click on Edit, select Subtitles, and then Closed Captions. Then you can click on English under Published, which will provide the option there to download your closed captions as an SRT file. So I hope that helps, guys. If you're using the same piece of video, like the same, from minute 1 to minute 2, the captions will obviously be the same if you're uploading that same section to LinkedIn or Facebook. But again, you have to be careful, and I do highly recommend using Rev as your preferred captions provider, because again, it's just a really seamless process. They take care of it all for you. 99.9% accuracy. You don't have to change it. You can upload it, peace of mind. And it really does mean that your video content is going to be consumed at a much higher rate because you do have the captions and people can watch with the sound off. So I hope that helps, guys. That's today's episode. It's a really, really important one because video is it's just growing and growing. The amount of video that's being consumed is ridiculous, and it's not going anywhere in a social media and digital marketing sense. But we do need to think about how our content is being consumed to make sure that, we're maximizing the return on investment from creating content. And with 85% of video being watched with the sound off, it's a no-brainer that you do need to add captions. So I hope you enjoyed this episode, guys. If you have any feedback, please do let me know. And I look forward to speaking with you again on the very next episode. So that's it for another episode. Thank you so much for listening. I really do appreciate it. If you love the show, the greatest form of feedback you can give is to leave a review. It helps the show grow, it helps more people find it, and I would really appreciate that. Head over to anthonygmurphy.com where you'll find all the show notes and links for today's episode. And if you just want to stay up to date with me and see what I'm up to, head over to Instagram, Anthony G. Murphy, and say g'day. And I will talk to you in the next episode.